Hey, what's up guys, Totally Dubbed here, and today I'm going to give you a review on the AOC IPS I2360PHU. Got there in the end. So as you would have seen previously from my unboxing video and initial impressions, which I'll link down in the description below, I gave you a full overview of the monitor, of all the functionalities and how it works and whatnot. The main selling point of this monitor, which is on the right hand side by the way, is that it pivots, it turns, it tilts, and it's even got USB ports on the side. Its connectivity ports are good as well in terms of the options it gives you, but in this review I'm not going to cover those simply because I've covered them in my unboxing initial impressions, and of course I'll reflect on that towards the end of this review. However, what I want to do is compare it to some of its competition. So first of all, I want to say the pricing of this product from Amazon, eBuyer and Dabs, which are all big resellers, ranges between £155 and £165. The suggested retail price of this monitor is around £168. So the monitor is quite cheap for what you get, because for £115 on the left hand side is my LG monitor. Now you might think, yes, the LG monitor is cheaper. However, the AOC monitor, with its functionalities with USB ports and tilting functionalities, gives it that extra edge. When I was looking into a monitor, and this was in September 2012, and I was looking to buy a monitor, there was a BenQ, I think, or Dell monitor, and that had the functionalities of this, and that was priced around £150, £180. So this is well priced for what you get. However, I want to concentrate a bit on the image. Now, it might be very hard for you guys to see the differences, and more so, what I want to definitely point out before starting this review is that you can change the settings depending on what you like. So for example, on the AOC monitor, there is a thing called dynamic contrast ratio, and some people prefer that, some people don't. You can turn that on and off. There's brightness levels as well, and both of these monitors right now, just to double check, are on 100% brightness. So it's 100% there and 100% there. So they're both on 100% brightness. On my unboxing and initial impressions, my first thing was, oh, the LG monitor seems brighter than the AOC from memory. However, that was incorrect, and that was simply because of the contrast. The contrast on my LG is much higher, whereas the contrast on the AOC is much lower, which is a good thing, because the lower the contrast, it is a darker picture, but that means that I don't have to boost up the contrast to get a better image. So I've realized the AOC has a much better brightness and contrast ratio than the LG, at least from what I have realized. If I up the contrast on this, it makes a huge difference. On the LG, I have to go pretty much max. As you can see, it was on 90 before, whereas the AOC, I think, is on around 50 or so, yeah, 55. So if I up the contrast on this, which I can well do, which I might do later, the colors become much more saturated. So it depends on what you prefer. These are all personal preferences. However, I must say, in terms of color adjustments and whatnot, out the box, the AOC gives a better picture than the LG, as in right out the box. The reason why is because it must have been professionally calibrated. The LG is supposedly done that as well. However, I had to do a lot of tinkering around in the past, and now I've learned to get around my settings really fast on the LG. I feel that any monitor with any person has to be adjusted depending on what you want and what you like and what you're viewing and whatnot. So for example, the darks on this are a little bit elevated to help its darkness levels. I must say the AOC has I found that had better blacks, so the blacks on the AOC seem better than the LG. It might not seem it right now because the darks have been boosted on that, but the dark colors on the AOC seemed much better, but on the LG, on the other hand, I found that the whites were much more truer. Now the whites were really good on the AOC, but it seemed like it was a little bit artificial. I don't know if I'm able to show you this, but I've got a picture just of some earphones, and I'm not sure if you're able to see. And I'll try and bring the tripod a little bit closer, but basically what I'm alluding to is up here. You can see I've got whites over here and whites over there. The whites on this seem much more natural, whereas the whites over here seem a bit more tainted, a little bit yellowish. So the whites is one thing I realized on the AOC that didn't seem as good as the LG. However, the blacks, the black colors and the black shadings seemed much better. So in terms of the color and the contrast ratio and brightness, the AOC really does check out, especially in comparison to its competition, the LG. And the LG, by the way, is the IPS 234V. So they're both IPS monitors, both 23-inch, but appeal to different customers because the AOC is a little bit more expensive. However, has a bit more professional feel to it and professional functionalities. Now in terms of the monitor's response time, I'm not able to test it because it's actually reasonably hard to test a response time and input lag and whatnot. However, this monitor, it comes with 5 milliseconds G2G, which is grey to grey, and a lot of people would argue that G2G isn't the best way to monitor it. However, unless you've got some kit to test it out, this is what you have to go by the manufacturers. Realistically, you have 5 milliseconds G2G, and then the colors to black are around 14 or 15 milliseconds. So some people might say it might be not that IPS monitors aren't good for gaming. Well, I game every other day or every day pretty much on Battlefield 3. I play on ultra settings on my PC, and I have not encountered any problems with input lag or whatnot. Also on the Xbox, whilst playing FIFA and Battlefield 3 again, I haven't realized any sort of problems, and that is the same case for the LG. And the reason I'm saying it's the same case for the LG, because the LG sports the same response time as the AOC. So therefore I've been content playing since September 2012, which is about a year, on this LG, on Battlefield, on Borderlands, all high intense FPS games and very demanding on your PC, and more so you would want a good response time between your mouse and your what you can see on your screen. As I said, I can't test professionally because I don't have the test bench and whatnot for monitors. However, that said, I just go off personal experience, and this is what I do normally with reviews. I like to go off personal experience and my views if I was a customer buying the product. And as you can see, I bought the LG and I gave my true opinion on the LG, and this is what I'm planning to do on the AOC. So overall, I really like the AOC monitor. Its versatility in terms of its use. I actually kind of regret not buying a monitor that has this flexibility in terms of going up on tilting, pivoting, and whatnot, because it's actually very useful. It's good for having different levels when you're sitting down. Therefore, it helps with your posture, and posture is something very important and something that should be greatly considered when you're sitting on a PC, especially if you're going to sit in front of the PC for more than 5 hours a day, such as myself, writing reviews and doing whatnot on the PC. So it is very important, and I really do like what AOC have done with their product. This is their professional line. In terms of their finish of the product, now if I'm just going to zoom in with the camera, I'm going to zoom into the bezel right there. Just the reason why is because of the color. The finish is a matte black finish, whereas the LG is a glossy finish, and I really like this from the AOC. The reason why I like this is because in bright sunlight, the monitor isn't intrusive and it doesn't distract you, doesn't distract your eyes from the screen, meaning that it's nice and flush. Let's put it this way. In terms of its settings and whatnot, the settings that are provided, they're all very easy to access and easy to use and easy to understand. And more so, you can Google things that you don't understand or look into the manual. One thing I did notice is that adjusting the picture display with the OSD, I think it's called, display, is a little bit of a chore because of the buttons. The buttons don't really stick out that much. They're kind of quite well in, whereas with the LG it's very easy to access and really easy to change. That's literally my only complaint I can think of the AOC monitor. And as I said, great monitor and really recommended for all types of use. I wouldn't even use it just for professional use, as in it is a professional line, but I wouldn't really say it has to be bought by a professional. I would say my mum, for example, could greatly benefit from a monitor like this, and I could greatly benefit from a monitor like this that can be easily adjusted. But anyway, guys, I'm going to stop rambling so much and just say that this monitor does really perform well. I really do like its versatility, its colors, and I have no problems gaming on it, viewing pictures, surfing the internet, or any sort of visible or noticeable input lag. I really do like using it, and I kind of regret having to send it back because it's a really nice monitor. But as I said, it's a little bit more expensive, and there are other cheaper monitors out there, especially from AOC. AOC do have a cheaper monitor which is exactly the same price as the LG and has the same functionalities, and by that I mean doesn't have the full tilt and pivot things and doesn't have the USBs. So it's not the professional line, it's more of the value line, and that is exactly as priced as the LG. And as they use the same monitor and everything like that, the only thing is the different design on the outside, the exterior. I can greatly suggest that monitor as well to people. Anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope this review does help in somewhat. At least you can see a comparison between two similar products, and I definitely do suggest this product to anyone looking for a monitor, especially a monitor that is quite versatile for all types of application. Alright, guys, I've been Totally Dubbed. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Take care.